Hello, my name is Matthias Kavodik. Welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about World War Hulk. It's a pretty fun story. Came out way back in 2007, 2008, written by Greg Pak. And I gotta say, John Romita Jr. really gets to shine. His art is super killer. Since there's a lot of emphasis on action, like the plot, it's pretty basic. It's not very story heavy. It's a very quick read. And so there are quite a few pages where there's zero dialogue. It's just Hulk punching things, punching people, punching heroes. And so in that aspect, it's pretty enjoyable. But again, like you sit down to read this crossover and you finish it really quickly. So the main idea of the story is Hulk is really pissed off. Like the Illuminati shot him out into space. He was too much of a menace being here on Earth. So they take the decision. They choose a planet that seems to be really peaceful. But for some reason, the ship that they sent him in goes to the wrong planet, ends up on this totally hostile planet where he gets captured, he becomes enslaved, becomes a gladiator. Then he leads a revolt against the emperor of the planet, takes over for the emperor. He has a queen. Then the ship that brought him there in the first place blows up, somehow causes a full-on cataclysm and makes the planet uninhabitable. So Hulk comes back to Earth to make the Illuminati pay. Oh, and before I proceed, I have to say that it's pretty enjoyable to notice that the tie-ins don't hinder the story too much. Like there's one or two moments you can tell that there's a tie-in. I have to read that. And at the end of the story, there's this Deus Ex Machina moment with Tony Stark. I'm sort of getting ahead of myself, but I'll explain myself better. That I also feel that there's a tie-in there explaining where that came from, because it comes out totally out of left field. So let's get into the story. Briefly summarize. Hulk, on his first stop going back to Earth, stops by the moon, confronts Black Bolt because obviously he was one of the members of the Illuminati. We have the first confrontation, and again, pages with literally no dialogue. It's just Hulk wanting to punch the living shit out of all these characters. And I don't remember if this is the original Black Bolt at this time or he was a Skrull imposter, because right around this time is when the Skrull imposter took his place, and that would lead up to the Secret Invasion crossover that was also pretty awesome. And again, even though the story is pretty bare bones, it's Hulk punching punching people, punching things, punching superheroes. It's always fun when you have stories like this every once in a while. And you feel like the stakes are really high because you feel like Hulk he's taking the gloves off. He's really wanting to make these guys pay. He's sort of borderline on being a full-on villain. It's like, that's sort of the idea of the story. He's sort of teetering there. He's working with a group of warriors called the Warbound. They're his friends from the planet Sakaar, I think was the name of, correct me if I'm wrong with the name. But they are there to help him. And there's a couple of these Warbound that are pretty sketchy, especially the Broad Queen. Like there's a tie-in with the Heroes for Hire, where Misty Knight's the team leader. That's really good. I really enjoyed it. It focuses on the fact that the Broad Queen and Meek actually want to create a secret invasion of Broad Meek. I don't know what the hell these Broad and Meek hatchlings. And it's a really compelling story, which leads to the death of Humbug. So sorry if I spoiled it there, but it's worth reading. It's like the only good story arc from that particular run. So get Hulk. He beats the living crap out of Black Bolt. Got Doctor Strange. He goes to talk to Tony Stark and say, "Hey, look, I think we really screwed up as Illuminati when we shot Hulk into space. Now he's more pissed off than ever." Obviously, Tony Stark during this time, he's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Doctor Strange is working with the Renegade Secret Avengers, so they're sort of like in confrontation at this moment. So Tony goes to Reed Richards, and they go ask Sentry, is like, "Hey, can you help us with this?" And Sentry's a really interesting character, but Sentry's has great respect for I was going to say Thor, for Hulk. And they're really good friends. So he really doesn't want to intervene in the situation. Like, he's not going to intervene until he realizes that Hulk has become a full-on villain. So Tony Stark lifts the registration. All the heroes, the renegade heroes, are helping with the evacuation. Tony is working with his new Hulk Buster armor that looks freaking awesome. And we get a really awesome confrontation between Tony and Hulk. And again, no dialogue, but it has a lot of weight to it. Like, it's very well told visually, this part. It doesn't feel lazy. Windows blowing out. They're basically leveling the city. There's a lot of emphasis on the fact that superheroes have a lot of collateral damage during their battles. And when they're finished doing the superhero stuff, capture the villains, they never stick around to fix things or help the people, especially when they demolish their buildings and stuff like that. And that normal people, there's a lot of more, you can see it here, but especially in the Frontline series, that focus of people just really being tired of superheroes and their antics. And every time they do their superheroing, they level half the city and people are left without their houses, their businesses, people get hurt, people get killed. So normal people, even though they're having to evacuate from the city, they're sort of like rooting for Hulk in the first place. So again, here we get a really awesome moment. They destroy the Stark Tower. This tower just crumbles down. Again, no dialogue. It just looks freaking awesome. Then after that, the Warbound go after Doctor Strange. Hulk sends, again, the Warbound. I can't remember the names properly, but they go up against the Mighty Avengers and the new Avengers. And we get this really awesome moment where She-Hulk tries to negotiate with Hulk. Hey, calm down. I'm your cousin. We love each other. We're family, so on and so forth. And Hulk just beats the living shit out of She-Hulk. It's like really heavy. Like, it's very action-oriented, the art, but at moments it's violent. And you'll feel like, whoa, man, that was pretty tough. Because you feel like Hulk is not pulling his punches. He's taking off the gloves. So after obliterating the Avengers, the Mighty Avengers, then he goes after the Fantastic Four. He easily takes care of them. And they really want to focus that each hero is like putting 100% and using the full force of their powers, and they're not being able to stop Hulk. Like Storm goes, Human Torch goes full Nova. Storm unleashes the complete force of her powers too. Like, everyone's putting 100% and no one can stop Worldbreaker Hulk, because I forgot that's the name of this particular version of Hulk. So, like, here's one of the moments that you could tell there's a tie-in, because in the Hulk series, he actually gets replaced by Hercules, and Hercules is running around with Archangel Namor and Amadeus Cho. And actually, we're going to get a spin-off series of Hercules from World War Hulk that's pretty awesome. It's a really good run. And also, there's a Warbound spin-off series that didn't last too long. It sort of sucked. But the Hercules one was really awesome. So then we get the obligatory battle against Thunderbolt Ross. Then against Doctor Strange, where not only Hulk is pissed off, Bruce Banner's pissed off. Like, Doctor Strange thinks he's getting to Bruce Banner and say, hey, he calms him down. Hey, like, we're sorry for everything that happened, so on and so forth. But look, don't kill everyone in the city or whatever the hell you're doing. And Bruce Banner is pissed off to the point that he helps Hulk capture Doctor Strange in the first place. So what Hulk does after capturing all the members of the Illuminati, there's also an X-Men tie-in where he goes and confronts Xavier and asks him because he wasn't part of the decision to send Hulk into space in the first place. It's a 3-issue story that could have been told in one, but it's so entertaining seeing the Hulk beat the living crap out of every mutant character out there. And I don't remember what Xavier tells him. But the thing is, after capturing the Illuminati, he forces them to fight as gladiators. He puts these slave discs on them. And that is what leads to Sentry realizing, hey, look, I think the Hulk went a little too far. He intervenes into the battle. And we get this epic battle between Hulk and Sentry, because Hulk is shown to be willing to kill the members of the Illuminati. So what happens is Hulk and Sentry actually fight each other to a complete standstill. They both revert back to their normal human forms. And at the end of the story, here's the Deus Ex Machina moment. So Hulk starts flipping out to the point that he's basically going to level all of Manhattan. And Tony Stark uses I'm getting ahead of myself. He really flips out because he actually discovers that one of the members of the Warbound, Meek, actually screwed him over, because Meek was the one that he saw the members of the empire that Hulk overthrew, the Red King. These are like part of the Red King's race, the High Priest. He saw the High Priest actually activate and put this bomb within the ship that led to the cataclysmic explosion. And Meek just didn't tell anyone, because Meek didn't like Peaceful Hulk. He didn't like Hulk having found happiness, because if he was happy, he didn't need Meek or the Warbound anymore, and they didn't have any more adventures. So he let that pass because he wanted to have his friend closer. And it's a really not a very toxic way of seeing friendship. This leads to Hulk. This breaks his mind, and Hulk just starts flipping out to the point that he's going to level all of Manhattan. And Tony Stark, out of nowhere, pulls this power that he can work with all these satellites and absorbs Hulk's power and take them away. And the story's finished because of that. But it's not explained how he's able to do that or when. It's very Deus Ex Machina. And I guess, and they don't even put, I would have actually, would have been nice to have a little reference. This reads certain Iron Man issues to explain this, because there's no explanation. It just happens. Why didn't he do this in the first place in his first confrontation with Hulk? It's beyond me. Maybe it's his ego. He wanted to take him down with the Hulkbuster. I don't know. That's actually sort of cool, thinking about that Tony Stark needed to take him down with his Hulkbuster to show off his superiority. But this feels just really lazy, and it's a real shame, because the rest of the story is a lot of fun. After this, the Hulk series is going to get really interesting. We're getting the introduction of the Red Hulk. It was an interesting incarnation. But this story in general, it's a lot of fun. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.